Next, we have my old pal, Michael Krulik. Michael is the Principal Solutions Manager for Avid Technology, but he really needs no introduction. I gave you a raise.
Oh, thank you. I'll talk to my boss.
He's been representing Avid at these events of ours for about 10 years now.
Yeah,
He's been here every year, and we appreciate it. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you. Thanks for joining. I may need to go back and forth a little bit. I want to show you products. You know, Avid has been out there for a long time. We have Pro Tools, Media Composer, Sibelius, Nexus, a whole bunch of different things. We're also getting into cloud-based solutions as well. So just want to show you may have heard of the Media Central platform. Well, this is just a basic idea of what it's all about. It's basically all-encompassing from your applications, web apps, going across different modules and services, creative tools in the cloud, including Media Composer and Pro Tools, but also integrating things like our storage, so Nexus. And on the bottom, I just want to point out things like the on-prem, private cloud, and public cloud, because we're actually expanding into all of that as well. We also have Nexus. If you've heard of Nexus before, we actually didn't just change the name from ISIS to Nexus. Nexus actually stands for the next generation of intelligent storage, and we've expanded it to actually up to 4.8 petabytes of storage, depending on how much you actually need. We know people are shooting 4K and higher, so where's all that going to be stored? So a lot of solutions with that. Anything from the Nexus Pro all the way up to the E2, E4, and E5, and the numbers relate to how many RU that actually takes up, which is nice. We've also just introduced SSDs inside of our Nexus storage as well, giving you up to 3 gigs of bandwidth if you need that. So a lot of solutions there. Our product line, I'll show you Media Composer first, which is our free version of Media Composer, once I get through the PowerPoint here. It's actually something we found that people were Media Composer editors. Who's currently a Media Composer user right now? Just a few of you. What we find is people are like, well, I don't want to have to pay for it. How can I learn it? So Media Composer First is a free version of Media Composer. It's limited to what it can do, but it's all the tools that are used right now in Media Composer. It doesn't go up to higher than HD, but it does let you link to 2K, 4K, whatever K media will be available whenever that's out. Using our linking technology with FrameFlex built in, but you can publish to Facebook, Vimeo, YouTube, or as a QuickTime file. But again, you're learning the tools. We found a lot of editors said, we have kids or relatives or people who said, how can we learn to do what you do? How can we get those tools? Now Media Composer First for free lets you do that. Released in June, I think we have over 75,000 downloads of that already, which is great. We also have Media Composer, the full version, which I think is celebrating its 30th year now, so it's been out there for quite some time. And we also introduced a VM version of Media Composer as well, where it doesn't have to run on-prem. You can actually remote into it. Different hardware options, the DNX iQ are with Blackmagic, being able to go to higher than HD, so 2K UHD and 4K. Connected, we also just introduced DNX IV, which is our partnership with AJA, a portable I/O device. And other options there. Some new product releases. We, in our latest version, introduced XAVC support native inside of Media Composer, high res and high DP for monitor support. Discrete audio tracks. We also have a sub-frame slip of your audio. If the audio is out of sync, you actually can go to the source clip and actually slip the audio sub-frame, which is really nice. We'll zoom past this, and you can see, again, the DNX IV, which is the latest release we just announced at IBC, partnership with AJA, and the DNX IQ with Blackmagic, so some nice I/O options. So let me just get out of this. I want to show you a couple of things. We talk about cloud technology and how that can be used with our platform. What I have here is basically I'm running off a laptop, but I'm in a web browser. I don't know if you all can see that, but I'm actually looking at the Nexus shared storage in Burlington, Massachusetts. So I can actually, through the web browser, take a look at media. So review and approval for somebody who maybe doesn't need to necessarily be editing, but they want to take a look at media. You have these really nice tools that even let me do a little hover scrub. I'm hover scrubbing media that's not even here. which is fantastic. I can go in and double click on one of these. It actually brings up a player. And this is, if you've seen the Media Central platform or Media Central that we had running before with UX, and UX, by the way, stands for Unified Experience, is the responsiveness has gotten pretty fantastic. So being able to go in and change your layouts, again, being able to scrub the media, now inside of this web browser and accessing it wherever I want to. I'm just running off the Wi-Fi right now. And actually, this is an actual slow motion clip. It's not playing it in slow motion, thinking that it's there. But being able to look at this media and look at it and search. So I'm currently in the browser portion of Media Central Cloud UX. And all of these apps, we're going to be able to add apps as this goes along, things like logging, real powerful search. You may have heard of ScriptSync or Phrase Find, which we reintroduced back inside of Media Composer, a phonetic searching of media inside of Media Composer and your editorial system. Well, that now is extended into Media Central Cloud UX. So imagine you're trying to find some media here. We'll go into our searching, and I can actually go in and say, let's look for the word documentary. So if I want to take a look at that, and by the way, if you hover over it, it actually shows you the phonetic pronunciation of that word, which is great. I always say people are now reading that going, documentary. Yes, that's the phonetic pronunciation of that word. It's using the Nexidia engine. We actually bought the technology, Avid did. We bought the technology and the developers to put this into our products. So I can go in and actually take a look at a phonetic search or a metadata search across all of my assets. And it actually does the search. It searched 508 assets. That's almost 15 hours of footage in 0.59 seconds. So it's showing me that. This is actually bringing up the clips. And what you may notice is there's a number that's telling me Kim said the word documentary 5 times in that clip. So there's no transcription done. It's actually taking a look at that. Once I double click on any of these, it brings up the shot right here. But if I hit the Hits tab, look at this. It's showing me where in relation to that clip did she say the word documentary. And not only that, but I can double click. It takes me right to that point, and if I play it, again, I'm running off Wi-Fi, we should hear.
Documentary schedules are longer,
Whoops.
but.
So you could hear she said documentary, obviously. If I go to Stuart right here, I double click. Here's Stuart Bass. Where did he say documentary? Right here. And you actually see across the bottom, it's showing me the time codes on where that is, and also how confident it thinks it found that match where they said it. So a really great way to go in and find these clips. Now we also have the ability to go in and edit. There is an editing portion. So if I want to, let me go back to my browse here, take a look at my users, and I want to bring up the DSC sequence that I created. So I can actually go and map these, or actually dock any of these here, or bring up the DSC sequence. Now again, I'm in a web browser looking at media that is in Burlington, Massachusetts. Let me go ahead and just grab a couple of other clips here. And I can simply go in and mark ins and outs on these. Mark in, or hit I and O on the keyboard. Drop that into my timeline here, and I'm actually editing in a shot list for that producer or somebody who just wants to string this out. Once this is saved, the editor in the edit bay will be able to pick this up and take a look at this. So again, some really great workflows. You may have seen Nexus for storage. If I have the Nexus system, I'm actually logged in through the web browser to go in and administrate Nexus. And I want to look at my workspaces because I want to show you how real powerful this is. If you haven't seen Nexus and how it works, what I'm seeing here are all the workspaces that are created, virtual workspaces. You're telling it how much space you want to use or how much you want for a certain project or a certain editor. It's showing me all of the names. It's showing me how much media is actually inside of each workspace. And if I'm going to create a new workspace, I simply click New. We'll come over here. We'll type in, this is DSC1. Give it an amount of storage. We'll say 500 gigs. We can also choose our disk protection. If there's a fail, how many disks do you want it to actually support if there is a failure? And also deciding on who can and can't see that workspace. So totally set up by permissions. I hit apply. It actually creates the workspace for me right here. But this is the real power with Nexus. Imagine being able to go in and say, okay, I want to add time to that storage. I want to take away time. And this is letting me choose and dynamically change that space without shutting down my entire facility. Everybody is still working on that. So this is the real power of Nexus, being able to share projects, bin locking, and everything there. And then quickly, I want to bring up, because I think I'm going to be running out of time shortly, is Media Composer First. Again, a lot of tools. Take a look at our website to see what we have available. And Media Composer First, again, is a free piece of software that you can download. But the important thing is we found that people said, well, Media Composer is hard to learn. How do you learn it? How do you make it easy? So some things you'll see here is when I launch Media Composer First, we actually take you through the process. We try to make it as easy as possible for the first user. So once this comes up, we'll see when we go into create a project, different than the original Media Composer, the way Media Composer works now, is you get a little window which says, all right, let's take a look at some tutorials, or watch quick start guides, or learn basics. And I can easily come in and just say, this is my Digital Cinema Society. I want to create my new project, create it. And what you'll see upon the start is we actually give you these little hints in the windows here. Things like drag from the source browser here to add clips, drag clips here to start editing. And we're trying to make it as easy as possible. So little things here, like if I want to take a look at some clips from Doc Kratzer, we take a look at Doc right here. I have a hover scrub in my source browser, so in editorial, but I can now take, and it says drag from source browser here. We'll drag that up here. I'm now linking to that 2K file. We'll play that out.
Sometimes you're looking for things, and sometimes you don't even know what you're looking for.
Okay. That's actually a little blurb on ScriptSync and PhraseFind, being able to find things. But you'll also see here, if I come in and go to my source settings, I can go in and add lookup tables. So if you do create a look on Resolve, or if it does come in from the camera, we'll actually see those looks. And even in the free version, you can apply this. And even FrameFlex, if you have or haven't seen this, FrameFlex lets you go in, you'll see that that's a 2K file. I'm in an HD project, but I can still go in and choose an area of interest to zoom in, do pan and scanning, and things like that. So once I go in and apply that, I can cut that into my sequence. We'll drag it down here. It's asking me at this point, well, what format do I want my project? I say OK. And then once everything is created, we have some nice tools for presets with colors and things like that in our effect palette. Once you create your masterpiece, you can say publish to YouTube, Facebook, Vimeo, or your local drive. So again, we're trying to make this easy. We want the hobbyist or somebody who wants to learn how to use this tool. But again, if you look at the interface, it's the exact same tools that are used in the current version of Media Composer. So nice little overview on a bunch of products. Thank you.
That's great for free.
Great for free.
And be sure to check out Luis Hernandez Jr.'s book. He's the CEO of Avid, The Storyteller's Dilemma. Thank you, Michael.